Welcome everyone to What is Oracle Planning? This is Courtney Allen and I will be presenting today. One request, before we get started, if you have any questions pertaining to any topic in this presentation, please put them in the chat window and I will address them at the end. Now a little bit about NRL. Our goal is to build strong collaborative connections with our clients to help them glean meaningful insights from their data analytics that ultimately drives improved business performance. Our mission is to leave the world a smarter place than we found it. At NRL, we're all about relationships. Our brand name is based on the idea of interrelationships. That's the way in which two or more things or people are connected and affect one another. This year, NRL was recognized as Oracle's Analytics Partner of the Year. We are 4-time winners of Oracle's BI and EPM Partner of the Year. We're listed 9 times in Inc.'s annual guide to the 5,000 fastest growing privately held companies in the U.S. And ACEs. This is a designation awarded to individuals who are prolific in spreading knowledge about Oracle software. Published several best-selling books on Hyperion, Essbase, Oracle BI, and EPM Cloud for a full set of services from strategic consulting to technical support. We maintain close partnerships with Oracle. We have a good relationship with Oracle Product Management. We were the first to implement Oracle Essbase planning and financial consolidations in the cloud. At NRO, we have been in the EPM and BI space since 1997. The company employs consultants with an average of 9+ years of EPM experience. We have completed over 1,000 EPM projects, implementing solutions across several industries such as healthcare, financial services, education, retail, technology, consumer goods, energy, manufacturing, and insurance. At NRL, we pride ourselves in offering free education in the form of Play It Forward videos, roadshows, webcasts, and blog posts. Now, let's shift our attention to the topic for today's webcast. What is planning? A decade or so ago, we could have summarized best practices in budgeting and planning as driver-based rolling forecasts. Now we have other leading practices in budgeting and planning and lots more options. These are according to business needs, industry culture, type of change they are going through, and any of those relevant factors. All of these are viable methods, solutions that companies use. I'm not sure which is the front runner at each company. It really depends on your own company and those dynamics within. To be realistic and know that there are year-over-year changes. We can't just copy over last year's actuals to this year's budget. We also need to go out and talk to the people in various levels of the company. This will allow us to be forward-thinking and take into consideration internal and external factors. Bottom-up budgeting is entering at the department level. Planners enter those numbers on what they think is going to happen. And all those detailed bits of information that we have, actuals, forecasts, plan, you have to compile it, consolidate it, and report on it. It's so granular, no one wants to revise it until someone realizes, oh shoot, our travel budget is way too high. And at the end of the day, when we create that budget, and after thousands of steps and hours and brain power, we consolidate it all up and hand it to the CFO. And it's not uncommon that he or she says, thanks so much for your countless hours on this, but you're wrong. Actually putting in for the budget and this is a great way to disconnect people and have them not buy into the process by having them go through all this work and end up changing the number in the end. But why do these executives like the CFO change the numbers? It's because they had an idea of what they wanted in the first place. The executives knew about the internal planned initiatives. They had insight into the external factors, but they never communicated those out to the departments. This gives rise to something called top-down or strategic planning. There are some compelling benefits to this approach. It's forward-thinking. We have people focused on the future. It gives a place for the executive management to put in their numbers, so that's a good thing. As mentioned, it takes into account external factors that other planners don't take into account. Like at the executive level, you know what initiatives are being planned, what things are coming that are changing things dramatically. But this in the end can be problematic. This can be problematic because the high-level view can also be bad, in that you don't know what's happening lower down in the company. There's a lot of fog or cloud sometime between the executive team and where the people are who actually have to execute the plans. So let's talk about Agile Planning. Agile Planning is timeliness over precision. Carlson's book sums it up well. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff in the end. And to quote Edward Roski, quite simply, Agile Planning is timeliness over precision, over reporting. He asked the question, can I come up with a number that will cause me to take a physical action? Link the budget to the strategy. Let's cover some basic must-dos. We want to set the strategic goals and communicate them to all parties in a transparent way. I know that's stating the obvious. People will support the strategy if they actually have been informed of the strategy. This will lend itself to fewer revisions and better communication. It should be based on what people will actually deliver, reward behaviors and excellence. First and foremost, keep it simple. We want to make sure the plan, budget, and forecast are easy to update. Timeliness is more important than precision. Precision is taking too much time and too many cycles. Make sure people understand the process. Make sure you're never planning to a level where you have detailed actuals. Eliminate unnecessary dimensions and get rid of those aspects of the plan that do not cause us to make a different business decision. Be flexible. Budgeting systems should not hold us back. If there's a major change, like a reorganization, for example, we should be able to immediately update the change. We don't want to be in a position of we can't handle that hierarchy change or roll-up change because the system or technology doesn't support it. Allow numbers to be easily changed, but only to reflect current conditions. This does not mean changing numbers because someone missed their budget. To accommodate this is make sure you have some sort of continuous or rolling forecast in place. And plan for those multiple scenarios. Have 5-ish ready at hand plans ready and be nimble enough to use one of those. Keep it realistic. Are your plans really achievable? If they aren't, then don't bother. We've seen companies set unrealistic targets only because it was dictated to them. Google Maps would never give you a false ETA time for your arrival to your destination just to make you feel better. You make plans and decisions based on information. So we all know it will just be a waste of time and energy by everyone involved if you don't. If actions cannot be taken to meet targets, it won't be in the best interest of the organization. Enable your planning process with technology. Let your process be what leads you, what you lead with, not let the technology lead you. Find technology which fits your requirements. What you want to do is whiteboard your entire process first. This is what we do when we meet with customers. We help redesign their budget systems. Oftentimes, this is the first third of the project spent here in the conference rooms on the whiteboards. Once we have a solid process, then we find the best fit for the technology solution. Systems can provide numerous benefits in the budgeting and forecasting process, such as security, protecting the privacy and making sure no one accidentally enters numbers in the wrong place. We need an audit trail and workflow so processes can accommodate dependencies between person A and person B. We need a central repository or database so it's all data in one place and we have one version of the truth. We want to get out of the standalone spreadsheets across the organizations. We need business rules and calculations specific to our business. Things like allocations we can standardize and enforce across the company. We need a common place and database for which to pull our reports and do our analysis. Something important to note, technology also suggests best practices. They give us ideas. So researching some of these technologies can help. They have the standard features, but should also be able to be customizable to suit your specific requirements that are unique to your business. Now let's shift our attention to some important recent changes and announcements. Here's a news flash. Hyperion is dead after a long battle with the cloud. Well, that was my attempt to be funny, but the current state is we are now planning in the cloud. And so I present to you now, let's go into Oracle EPM Cloud. Here's an evolution of Hyperion Planning and Budgeting. As you can see, the old technologies didn't go away. They just stopped selling the old and ramped up the new. In the 80s, we had the spreadsheets, Lotus 123 and Microsoft Excel. And then the first multidimensional database was rolled out by Arbor with Essbase. And we started to see things like Hyperion Pillar and Hyperion Planning coming out in the 2000s. In 2010, we saw the first of the on-premise modules with CapEx, workforce, and projects. And then in 2014, we started to see the cloud services with PBCS and ePBCS. And that brings us to today with EPM Cloud, which includes Planning Cloud. Oracle is shifting away from cloud services to one solution that supports 4 main business processes. This does mean that except for legacy customers, the products will not be sold separately. What was a product is now just a business process inside Oracle EPM Cloud. The 4 processes include planning, financial close, to include financial consolidations, account reconciliation, and tax reporting, and then narrative reporting and enterprise data management. So with the shift to business processes, we now have new names for the EPM products. What we were calling ePBCS, PBCS is now simply planning. FCCS is financial close or financial consolidation and close. ARCS is account reconciliation. Narrative reporting is the same. Strategic modeling is the same. PCMCS is profitability and cost management. TRCS is tax reporting. EDMCS is enterprise data management. The enterprise planning cloud frameworks are now simply called planning cloud modules. So we still have the financials module, workforce module, CapEx, and project modules. So nowadays it seems all of the news from Oracle is about cloud, but what about on-prem? For the fans of on-prem Hyperion Planning, the good news is Hyperion Planning will continue to be supported and new versions are coming soon. We just heard that the earliest Oracle EPM 11.2 release is scheduled now for October 2019. It will be for Windows only at first, with Linux and AIX to follow in early 2020. Oracle has made a commitment to provide applications unlimited and premier support for on-premise deployments until at least December 2030. Their on-premise strategy is to provide ongoing commitment for lifetime support. This is corporate-driven strategy for premier support across all apps through 2030. Customer-driven, not market-driven enhancements are going to be coming out. There's going to be a shift to a more nimble delivery mechanism where smaller and easier to adopt release cycles will be coming, not big releases every 2 to 3 years, but quarterly, and no forced migrations. The 11.2 release is going to be called an out-of-place upgrade. It'll be an uplift to FMW 12G release, repository simplification to undo System 9. Some features and products will be discontinued in 11.2. This release is primarily a back-end release. It is not about new features. It will still use Essbase 11.2.4. The 11.1.2.4, there's going to be defect fixing, third-party certification updates, and enhancements through December 2020. Extended support available through December 2021. Let's talk a little bit about some 11.2.x features. Now, Safe Harbor, keeping that in mind. Some notable new features to be released for on-prem are Smart Push, valid intersections, metadata loads through FDMEE, Smart View support for Chrome, limited functional release for Office 365, and automatic consolidations in HFM, among others. So let's talk about some discontinued products going forward in 11.2. Lots of these products won't be in 11.2 because they don't really have direct migration counterparts in EPM Cloud. Some notable products and features that will be discontinued are the SUI, the Simplified User Interface in 11.2 and Planning, Disclosure Management, EPMA, Web Analysis, Hyperion Strategic Finance, Crystal Ball, the Oracle EPM mobile app. In the BI space, again, we have interactive reporting and production reporting. See, these are all going away. Let's go through a little bit of an introduction to Oracle Planning, both on-prem and cloud. Planning is a centralized planning and forecasting solution. You can shorten your planning cycles. The tool supports all forecasting methods. You can improve plan and forecast accuracy. Planning in Excel is supported. Predictive planning, approvals, dynamic workflow, what-if modeling and sandboxes, fast calculation, of course, and you have Essbase as your back-end database. You have powerful reporting and analysis capabilities. You have threaded commentary, and it supports dashboarding, reporting, and ad hoc. You have role-based navigation flows, and fast and easy to deploy, and it's highly scalable, and you have drill-through capabilities. So here are the planning cloud features and functions. So you might ask, why Planning Cloud? Well, it's because it has all of the on-prem Hyperion Planning features plus a whole lot more. For example, first and foremost, you get access to pre-built modules like financials and workforce planning. You get a simple user interface with dashboards and navigation flows that are not available in on-prem planning. You get valid intersections to restrict data entry where needed and guide the user. You have autosave capabilities, sandboxing, and smart push. You have the ability to do scripting and Groovy to give more power and flexibility and efficiency to your business processes. If you didn't know, Planning Cloud uses Essbase as its backend database. Planning continues to use Essbase as its backend database. However, now we can leverage the efficiency and flexibility of hybrid BSO in our planning solutions. Each plan type or cube equals one Essbase database or cube. And the Essbase cube types that are available for use within planning are, you always had the ability to use BSO cubes. You want to use BSO cubes because you can write very complex calculations, but you're limited to the size, that is the number of dimensions and members that you can have. But for reporting, you can make use of the ASO cube, that's the aggregate storage option cube. Here you want to keep your calculations simple, but support is given to having much larger dimensions and members. And so bringing the best of both worlds together, we have hybrid database, which is the hybrid BSO cube, and it is now has recently been made available to us within planning. For those of you who are not familiar with planning, let's start with the basics. Applications contain dimensions, data, business rules, and multiple user interfaces like data entry forms and dashboards. Applications meet a specific set of planning needs designed to cater to an industry or business. In Planning Cloud, one application per environment per instance is allowed. Planning provides a truly simplified user interface. Users have available to them on the homepage access to dashboards, task lists, data entry forms, and they can execute their business rules. Organizations can also use workflow features to ensure plans are approved at appropriate levels and give visibility to the process at a very high level to management. And planning also has integrated reporting features as well. The Simplified UI offers a facility for administrators to create and manage the Planning Cloud application. The settings card makes available to users an area where they can set their user preferences, and also where administrators can go to define application defaults. Behind the Academy card, users have at their fingertips tutorials that are short in length and task specific. And the Navigator is another option where you can jump to other areas within the application very quickly. When you look at the new planning user interface, you see icons which are referred to as cards. These cards provide quick links to features and functions that support the planning process. The announcements panel is prominently displayed on the home page. It is here where you can find task reminders and links associated with the close manager. The Navigator icon opens to the administrator page for administration tasks and maintenance. Your individual view could be different based on your security level. Oracle is putting more emphasis on data visualizations from within Planning Cloud. The new dashboards present charts with commentary and user data entry forms embedded within. New users can benefit from the Planning Task List feature. All they have to do is just follow the tasks. Task lists can provide a guided tour through the planning process, ensuring all steps are taken with helpful date reminders and instructions along the way. Oracle continues to improve on the functionality of data entry forms. Forms offer a standardized layout for users, yet can be highly dynamic in terms of content presented based on user variables and security access. Forms are accessible both over the web and in Excel via SmartView. More on the data entry forms. The planning data entry forms have the following characteristics. Data form name appears in the header. The point of view appears above the data grid and essentially can be made up of members defined as read-only in the form. Like, for example, we know we will only load forecast data to this form, therefore it is fixed on the forecast scenario in the point of view. We can assign members to be chosen from a pick list by placing them in the page component of the form. This section also appears above the data grid. Forms, of course, can have rows and columns, but in planning, you have the flexibility to create asynchronous rows and columns. You can even set aside rows to perform dynamic calculations that can only be seen on the form. The portion of the grid where data entry can be performed will have cells that are white. After data has been entered yet has not yet been saved, the cells will appear yellow. These are called dirty cells. The portion of the grid that is not editable, for example, periods having actual results, will appear gray in color. Rows can have user-defined supporting details, and basically these are cells with supporting details will appear blue in color. And we can configure the forms to autosave or only calculate on save. Planning forms have a lot of the basic functionality of prior versions and a lot of new functionality that really add powerful analytic capabilities to the planning process. You have the adjust feature to highlight, basically you just highlight cells in the grid to adjust the values up or down, either by a value or an amount or by a percentage. You can add commentary. You can add supporting details. Basically, these are free-form rows that the planner can add to describe in more detail or itemize totals shown in the grid. You can add attachments. You can basically track changes made to the data over time. You can take the form into ad hoc mode and it basically gives you more flexibility, and you can review results presented in predictive planning. You can also take the data to a sandbox version and do what-if analysis. Everybody loves Excel, and planning is still supported in Excel. You get the same end-user features in Excel that are on the web, except for the cards, clusters, and dashboards. Also, for the administrators, there's an added feature. The administrators can enjoy the ease of managing their dimension members in Excel when they install the added dimension editor capability to the SmartView for Excel. Calculate data and planning. Oracle brought us the capability to design business rules in a graphical environment. This environment supports calculation ranges, conditions, scripts, loops. You can display the calculation flow in a graphical way. You have predefined templates for standard planning calculations. It allows for custom templates, design and use variables, and runtime prompts. Copy or share rules across applications, share components across rules, organize the calculation library by objects or in a tree structure. You can go back and forth between graphical and script language if you wish. Control rule launch, access rights, and optimize business rules by looking at the process and debugging. Approvals. Approvals is a powerful but often underutilized feature of planning. The approvals functionality makes it very easy to have a planner transfer ownership, basically submit their plan to someone else for review to either approve or reject the plan in a workflow fashion. Admins can actually start the cycle each month and open up the plan, and as plans are approved, they are basically locked. And once you lock all of the planning units, essentially the entire plan is locked down. So in this way, you can secure data and offer oversight to the process to see where things stand across the entire organization. There are a variety of ways to enter data into planning. The primary method of loading large volumes of data, such as actual results, is through the use of data management. Data management is the integrated cloud ETL tool that comes with your cloud subscription. The alternative to data management is its sibling, FDMEE, which is the traditional on-prem ETL tool used for data integrations. For moderately large bulk data loads, the simplified data import or export facility would be a suitable choice. For smaller data loads like planner data entry, the options include web forms or a smart view in Excel, either in data forms or ad hoc. So now let's talk about the pre-built content available, that is the Planning Cloud modules. Enterprise Planning Cloud includes pre-configured modules that customers can leverage to save a lot of time. These modules include workforce planning, capital asset planning, project financials, financial statement, and strategic modeling. Oracle incorporated best practices from leading organizations to deliver out-of-the-box capability to handle all aspects of plans and forecasts of income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, complete with pre-built dashboards and user navigation flows. Organizations can simply pick and choose components they wish to enable for their specific needs. The Financials module was purpose-built to integrate with other modules activated in the suite, such as Workforce and Capital and Projects. Workforce module is another pre-built module that provides support for plans and forecasts for headcount and workforce expenses. You get calculations and reporting of headcount, salary, bonuses, taxes, healthcare expenses, and so on. Here again, you can incrementally enable components of the module, such as compensation planning, other expenses, demographics analysis, and strategic workforce planning. Next, we have Capital module, where we have more pre-built content specific to capital expenses. Within the Capital module, planners can use driver-based calculations to generate capital expense plans, manage all of the minute details of capital transfers, impairments, retirements, and replacements. Planners can load up existing assets and intangibles data, and this data can be summarized and integrated with the Financials module, or it can be maintained on a standalone basis. In the Projects module, we have pre-built content to allow us to plan indirect, contract, and capital projects. We can review and approve projects. We can use a driver-based approach to load our plans. We can use a detailed project planning by resource if we'd like. We can track actuals versus forecasts for our projects. And again, we can incrementally enable components of the module, such as project summary, expense, revenue, and analysis. And so the final module is strategic modeling or scenario modeling. Strategic modeling, this is a tool to address the need for a high-level view of the impact to financial statements due to strategic initiatives, for example. like mergers and acquisitions, questions like should we buy a competitor or divest of a division, different treasury strategies like dividends, should we pay out dividends, should we pay off debt, should we do a stock buyback. You want to use strategic modeling for that, and also for like doing valuations, like for instance, how much is the company worth? And so strategic modeling is suitable for that sort of analysis. And so the tool supports the decision-making process. And when it comes to questions like how will this acquisition affect our ability to pay dividends in the future, or will a merger improve our share owner value, you're going to have support for these particular areas within strategic modeling. So there are a few non-module solutions that are add-ons that you can include in your package. So for example, Strategic Workforce Cloud is a complementary solution to consider coupling along with your workforce planning. So this solution allows you to set up company-specific customizations to track headcount, attrition rates. You can seamlessly integrate this with the planning cloud frameworks or modules. So strategic workforce planning helps planners answer questions like, do our employees have the right skills to implement our strategic plans, for example. So sales planning is another non-module solution that you can purchase separately, but Sales Planning Cloud was launched at the Oracle Open World in 2018. This solution for sales planning is purpose-built to address the needs of sales planners, to help get sales territories aligned, assign optimum sales quotas, and decide on balanced commission plans that both motivate and challenge the sales teams. With Oracle Sales Planning, the weekly sales forecasting process becomes a very quick and collaborative exercise as sales managers and sales reps draw on insights from predictions to make intelligent decisions. Unlocking the value of analytics into your sales planning process is a huge value and can possibly offer competitive advantages. Oracle Sales Planning with analytics and intelligent predictions can help greatly with this key area of the business. So let's take a moment to look at the most recent highlights, new enhancements made to the planning applications. Right now we have, they've introduced hybrid Essbase. We have freeform planning in the enterprise version. And we have faster workforce calculations. We have data maps that support for strategic modeling. We have drill through in Excel. We have some limited support for Office 365 Smart View. And we have some updates for EPM Automate. And so finally, there's more coming. So let's kind of review what we've been told is coming in future releases. So we have management reporting, or MR, as the new reporting engine. There's going to be support for period 13 processes. And we're going to have project portfolio analysis, new leased asset, IFRS 16 and ASC 842 are coming. We're going to have some enhancements for workforce, and we're going to get automated predictions, IPM, updates for task manager, and we're going to get flex forms. So these are things that are coming in near-term releases. So the last thing I want to talk about before wrapping up is that there's plenty more information that can be gathered about these products. I just basically scratched the surface. At NRL, we believe in continuing education. And we are committed to learning, developing, and sharing our expertise in the EPM and BI space. So please visit and check out our Play It Forward videos. Please go to the link here in the presentation, epm.bi/videos. And also, don't forget, we have several best-selling books on BI, EPM Cloud, Essbase, and planning. So please stay tuned. We have upcoming webcasts covering some very exciting updates like the new edition of Hybrid VSO for Planning Cloud. And we have upcoming webcasts presenting information on very powerful Oracle applications such as strategic modeling and profitability and cost management, and one of my favorites, account reconciliations. And thanks for joining us on this webcast.